Good morning, it's Amy. So you guys, I'm drinking my green protein shake with Arbonne. Normally I drink this before I work out, but today I decided to drink it after, and I regret it because halfway through my workout, I was really hungry and I started feeling like oozy. So so today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what I've learned about talents and God's plan for our lives and your gifts and your favorite hobbies that you like to do. So many of us questions God, like what am I supposed to do on this earth? What are your plan for my life? And I believe that God does have different plans for each person. Um, and many of us, question that, and we don't really understand what God's plan is. And sometimes we're not listening, but God is speaking through us or to us. So what I'm trying to say is that each of us has gifts and abilities and hobbies that we like to do. So if you don't know or you can't hear what God is speaking to you about what you should do, most of the time, your talents and your hobbies and your gifts are what God wants you to do. You know what I mean? Like, so if you like crocheting items, you like photograph, you like let's see, make something or do something, I don't know. But like you like to draw, for example. I don't know what else you guys like to do, but this was just some example that if you guys like to do those stuff, go for it. Continue to do it, because you never know if that is what has planned for you. And I think we so focus on like, oh, I want to do this amazing thing, in life. I want to change the world. You can change the world with just your talents and your abilities. You don't have to like do something amazing. God can use what you already have to change somebody's lives. So, so don't get discouraged. For me, I wish I knew that before, like when I went to the Bible school in like 2011 in Florida. I was also in that spot where I questioned like, God, what do you want me to do? And I thought one of my desire and passion was mission, and that was before I met my family in Cambodia. And when I met my family in Cambodia, I actually felt and know that God has different plans for my life. So it's it's a long story, so I'm gonna try to share it with you guys. So before my sister Gina and I got adopted, God was already working in our lives anyway. So we were living in the orphanage, and like there was a guy, like a grandpa that worked there, that we actually call him grandpa, but he's not really related to us. And he basically went behind my mom's back and put me and my sister for adoption. And he told me that, and Gina, that the reason why we were put up for adoption because he wanted Gina and I to live a better life in the US, and that was one of them. And then the second reason was that so that someday that Gina and I can help our family, and give them a better life, living situation, and live, better life. So so that really stuck to me. And I grew up with my adopted family, and then at Hope House in a children's home in Mossing. And so I'm telling you guys, when I got adopted, I wasn't a Christian. Like, even though my adopted family was Christian, I wasn't, because I was so hurt, I was so broken by what was going on in my life, that I didn't want anything to do with God. But at Hope House was where I found God. I saw the love that I needed. I saw the healing. I saw so many people that love God, and I just love that, and it brought me to God. And so I gave my life at Hope House, and from then I always have that desire to know my family and to reunite it with my birth family in Cambodia, because I know they're still alive. I was hoping and praying that they were, and one of my desires was to reunite with them. And so God granted that prayer in 2015 when I went back to Cambodia to do a 1-year internship with Teen Mission International in Cambodia. And I was able to reunite with my mom, my sister, my younger sister, my two brothers and their family. They were both married and have kids, and so that was amazing. And then I was also able to see my extended families and stuff. And then also revisited the orphanage that I grew up in, and many places that I grew up in and visited in Cambodia. And basically from then on, I kept praying, like, Lord, during my internship, I prayed about like what God's plan was for my life, because I was gonna be done with my time with Teen Missions, and I didn't know what else God wanted me to do. And so I've heard God told me that He wanted me to go to college, and I'm like, okay, and I'm jumping way ahead, but when I first reunite with my family, I saw how they were living. I heard what was going on in their life, and I felt so sad, and I felt so broken, and I felt so bad for my family. Like, all these years I've been living in US, and I didn't even know what was going on in their lives. They're struggling with, having money to pay for this. They have to borrow money, and now they can't even pay back money to people that they borrow. And so I'm just like, and then that's when it reminded me of what the grandpa in the orphanage told me, that like he wants me and Gina to someday help a family. And so I pray about that, and I felt God leading me to go to college to get an education, so that I can have a better job that pays well, so that someday I can help my family. And so I'm just like, okay, Lord, so I'll go to college, but which college? So when I went back to the state after my internship, I basically went back to Hope House. I worked as a night duty staff. Basically, what is it? Graveyard, yeah. It was okay, but it was creepy at night. Like, I was the only one awake, like checking on the girls sleeping, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is creepy. Like, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life, but it was awesome too, because during those time that I worked at night, I was able to spend time with God. I was able to, ask God, like, what is your plan for my life? Like, I know you want me to go to college, but what college? And and I was waiting, and I didn't want to take that first step in actually like applying, because I'm like, okay, God, you should tell me. And he was like, okay, Amy, you need to take faith, you need to take faith and take a step and apply to colleges that you think you would like to go. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll apply. So the first two colleges that I applied was the College of Idaho in Caldwell, Idaho. And then the second college I applied to was Boise State. But I didn't finish my application with Boise State. But I finished my application with College of Idaho, and that's a college that I really wanted to go to. And I heard back within a week that I got accepted. And then I got really, really worried and like stressed out, because I'm like, okay, Lord, I grew up with no parents, okay? I grew up at Hope House, a children's home. How am I gonna get the money to go to College of Idaho? And it was funny, because I was just like, oh my Lord. And he's like, just trust me. I'm like, how am I supposed to trust you? Like, I'm trying to trust you, but school is starting soon. So, okay, so I applied in March. I heard back in a week. And then it was like the month was going really fast. And then next thing I know, it was already June. And I still haven't had any finance. I applied for like some scholarship. I didn't hear back from them, so I don't know. So yeah, it was funny. So God just like, trust me. I keep hearing him saying, trust me, trust me. I'm like, okay, I'll trust you. And then one day I was just like, like praying. I'm like, God, I know you want me to go to college, but like, where is the money gonna come? Like, Lord, if you want me to go to this college, you have to provide the money for me. You have to bring someone or something to give me the money to attend this college, because I don't have money. And so the next thing I know was that my high school coach, he came up in, actually his family and him came up in my mind, and God was like, ask him. And I'm like, okay. So I went online. I think it was Facebook Messenger, I think. Yeah, I think it was. It's like a long time ago, but yeah, I think it was. And I, told him like how I was excited to get into College of Idaho, and then I was just like, what I'm needing the most right now is help with financial need, financial support, scholarship to go to College of Idaho, and so next thing I know, they said yes. Him and his family said yes to helping support me, and I'm so grateful for them, guys. Like, if they didn't help me for 3 years at the College of Idaho, I would be like in great debt. Like, it's about 40,000 to 42,000 almost a year to go to the College of Idaho. It's a private school, and I knew that if I went there, I would be like broke. Like, I was actually did math, and I timed 40,000 to 42,000, basically the amount 40,000 basically, by 4 years. Guess how much? It was like around 160,000, like student loans, if that was what I needed. And I'm really grateful for them, and thank you to my sponsor. But so yeah, so then I knew that, God was talking to me all along. I knew he was talking to me all along, but when he provided the fund, I knew that this is the place that he wanted me for sure, like 100% sure, without a doubt. And it was funny because before that, my friend Miss Jess, I call her Miss Jess because at Hope House, we as staff, the girls are supposed to call us Miss, like respectfully. We try to teach them to be respectful of people, like that's older, and yeah. So I want to be a good example and show the girls, and so I call her Miss Jess too. She doesn't think I should because she's like, you shouldn't call me Miss Jess, but I'm like, well, I'm trying to be respectful. So basically, when I got accepted to the College of Idaho, I basically went and visited the college with Miss Jess, and we were talking to the financial office and department, and they would just explain how much it costs, and she looked at me like, because she was like, it's so expensive, how are you gonna get the money to pay it, like, and I already know that God already talked to me, that he like trusts him. So I'm like, Miss Jess, I know that God will provide. Like, I think this is the place where God wants me to go, and I know that he said to trust him. And she's like, okay, she's like, okay, and I'm like, yeah. So yeah, so I ended up going to the College of Idaho, but basically I'm just, this is a little bit of my life story. Just sharing with you guys that, you have gifts, you have your ability, you have your talents, you have your hobbies that you like to do. So go for it. Don't be afraid, and learn new things. If you like to do drawing, there's a lot of YouTube videos on how to draw things, to develop your skills and to develop yourself. So yeah, so thank you for watching. Again, I'm Amy. Bye.